Hello my friends, and welcome back to the rabbit hole, and welcome to my very honest review of the new Urban Decay Hydromaniac Tinted Glow Hydrator, featuring a discussion of whether a drugstore product may be a dupe. If you are just tuning into this channel, my skin type is dry and acne prone, and all of my foundation shades are listed in the description box below, plus some timestamps to everything we're going to talk about in this video. So what I'm going to do is we're going to talk first about the ingredients and the claims. I'm going to share with you my experience as I've been using this product for the past week, and then I'm going to give you a demo of this product up against the product that I suspect will be a dupe. Really quick overview here: ingredients, claims, cost of the product. This is 1.1 fluid ounces for $29, which is a very reasonable price for Urban Decay in my personal opinion. It claims to be medium coverage with up to 24 hours of wear, but it is called a tinted glow product, which means ideally you can wear this to a very light coverage or build it up to that medium coverage. And then it also contains kombucha filtrate and marula oil. Really quickly on makeup products that contain skincare ingredients. Basically, I'm a skeptic, and the very simple reason for this is because skincare products, especially products like serums, essence, toner, is formulated to penetrate into your skin and cause deeper changes in your skin, right? Whereas makeup products are formulated to sit on the surface of your skin. You want your foundation to be here, not deep within your skin. So I just kind of go neato when I see those types of claims on makeup products. That does not mean that they are completely useless. I just don't think that this replaces a skincare routine. It says weightless, medium coverage, looks fresh all day, dewy, juicy finish, healthy looking skin glow. I mean, this is all music to my dry skin's ears. To my dry skin. My dry skin has its own set of ears. Oh, it probably does. Final notes on the ingredients here: it is a vegan formula, which is nice to see, and also it is fragrance free. However, do know that it contains a bit of ginger extract. As for my personal experience with this product, before I even bought this product, I did have some issues with finding the correct shade to match my skin. We've got a situation here of only 12 shades. However, I figured that since this was a light coverage foundation, that wouldn't be too big of a deal. You know, I think that when you're talking about a high coverage foundation, you really need to have 40 shades or more. But when you're talking about a tint, not necessarily. You know, you're just adding a bit of evenness to your skin, really. So 12 shades could work, but nonetheless, I was confused because it says medium coverage, glow. Which one is it? I noticed that all over Instagram, Urban Decay kept saying to people, hey, if you know your shade in our Stay Naked foundation, just send us a DM and we'll tell you our perfect match. I did this and I never got a response, completely ignored. Why do these companies even say these things on social media if they're not going to actually follow through? See, now you're seeing where that rant in my fresh video I posted on Monday came from. Yeah, this is a very common thing with companies where they just don't get back to you. So I ended up taking a guess. I went for 20 fair, and I don't think I chose perfectly. So know that for the duration of this video, 20 fair is a little light. Possibly I should have gone with 30, but I'm just guessing, and I'm not going to buy another one to find my perfect match. I have tried this now in quite a number of ways, which I've been documenting on my phone here. You know, I take inspiration from Tim Talia. I want to be her when I grow up. Don't we all in the makeup community? I'm just saying. So what I noticed immediately the first time I went to use this is that I love the packaging. I love that it is very easy to control the amount that comes out of here. You know, compared to a pump where you get however much pumps out, you can squeeze out just a tiny little amount of this and wear it as a tint. Or you can keep building and build it up to medium coverage. Now, the very first day that I wore this, I just went for a tint. You know, I've been pretty happy with my skin. It's a lot clearer than it used to be, so just a simple tint. I did not put any primer on, and I do have to say I was a bit surprised by how much my pores were showing. You know, that's something that you really want from a light coverage foundation, is you want it to even out your skin and not make your pores look prominent. But that was an issue that I had from the very first time I tried this, is that it was exacerbating my pores. So it wasn't necessarily the best look for me, but the other problem I had with it is that I was still running into a situation of a lot of transfer. Now, in a perfect world, nobody touches their face, right? The problem is we don't live in a perfect world. First of all, we've got masks going on, certainly in this time, but also as somebody who, this is so specific, but maybe it's helpful to someone, I have a very fine hair type and it just absolutely gets into my face, so I'm constantly brushing away fine baby hairs from my face. I've got them sprayed back today, and you can probably see the hairspray. That's why I don't like to wear hairspray. I tried this over a pore filling primer, and that did look a lot better, so I would definitely recommend at least a pore filling primer, although I still had the same issue with transfer. So at this point, I noticed something on the Sephora website. I noticed that in the how to use section, it says for an extra sheer glow, which is what I was going for, and added staying power mixed with all-nighter face primer sold separately. Let me tell you what, this is the best combination by far. I swear by this, but is this really helpful? Is this really helpful? Because at this point, if you click this video to see a review of a $29 foundation, and I now tell you to buy a $36 primer in order to make it work, now you guys spend $75 to make the $30 foundation work. So is that really a good solution? I don't know. I really don't. I mean, if you happen to have this primer, I do think it's a great primer. If anything, I'm reviewing the primer in this video more than the foundation since this fixed my issues. But again, I don't really like when I have to recommend another product to make a product work. But I will admit it did fix the transfer issue. This, by the way, is a grippy primer, not grippy to the level of the Milk Hydro Grip, which is actually too much on my dry skin. It's actually a great primer. It's a great primer. If you happen to have it, you might enjoy mixing it with the new foundation. We still have a third scenario to talk about though, and that is as a medium coverage foundation. If you follow me on Instagram, you already saw kind of a sneak peek of how this attempted wear test went. I really did try to do a wear test for you and it did not go as planned. So anyway, I thought let's not use that primer, let's just use a basic silicone primer. We'll build this up to medium coverage and we'll see how it wears. So since in this circumstance I was applying medium coverage, which I would say took me 3 squeezes, granted kind of smaller squeezes, and I applied it with not just my hands as recommended, but I also went over it with a sponge. So I did all of that. I felt like I needed a light layer of powder because it felt a little bit thick on my face and I didn't want it to slip and slide around as I make all of my expressions throughout the day and end up where I didn't want it. So a light layer of powder, which I figured would fix the issue with the transfer. So that is indeed the video you saw on Instagram already. That is where I just did a very light wipe on my skin and all of it came right off. And the new problem that I had is that since I had added powder into this oil-based foundation, what happened is the powder and the oil were not getting along. So as I tried to smooth back out the area that I had lifted the foundation from, I couldn't do it. I just kept making a bigger mess. And that wasn't even the worst part. About 2 or 3 hours in, because I had this oil-based foundation on my face, my mascara had started to run. So I did one of these quick, one of these, you know what I'm talking about. I did this, I looked at my hand, it was covered in foundation, and that's when I took the picture that you are now looking at, and that's when I gave up, because that's not a good look. Talk about patchiness, and that's the whole point in wearing foundation, is so you even out your skin, not so your skin looks worse. And let me tell you also, when I went to remove this at 3 hours into this wear test, I looked in the mirror and it was actually terrible under my eyes. Granted, I like to apply only the foundation, so I had not added any concealer. May have been a good idea with this, but it was so cakey and just crinkled into every fine line that I have, which isn't a ton. But all of this leaves me thinking that if you are planning to purchase this for medium coverage and you have dry skin, you should probably know that I don't think it's the best option on the market for that purpose. Honestly, the Stay Naked foundation, the original, is much better for medium to full coverage. Just keep it a medium coverage and it wears beautifully. Nonetheless, I do think that if you have a more normal skin type, this may work out just fine on you. And also, and nobody likes to admit it, but but if your skin is a little bit younger. Maybe it's not even that people don't like to admit it. Maybe it's that when younger people make reviews of foundation, maybe they genuinely don't know. But as somebody now in my 30s, yeah, foundation looks a little different on me than it did a decade ago. I have to be a lot pickier with my foundations. But like I've been saying throughout this video, I think it's alright as a light coverage foundation. So we are now going to get into a demo, and I'm going to show you the potential dupe. It is none other than the very underrated Revlon Candid Glow. Nobody talks about this, and it's actually a beautiful light coverage, glowy tint for dry skin, in my opinion. So we're going to go ahead and do a split face today. I'm going to take a very tiny amount of this. I do really want to mix it with the primer, but I'm not going to. I'm just going to apply it lightly. I put a little bit too much here, but that's okay. I'm going to shear it out and just go with this amount. Very, very light coverage. I should have shown you the sunscreen and primer that I'm wearing right now. I'll make sure to show you all that in a moment. I get a lot of questions about SPF, so I always make sure that my SPF is applied at least 30 minutes before anything else. Let it, sit on your skin, make sure that it creates an even layer on your skin before you apply anything. This also applies much better over primer. Something I noticed when I was applying it without any primer is that I really had to kind of buff it into my skin. So, again, I think it's a little bit of a finicky foundation. So there you go, that is this applied on this half of my face. You can see that it did even out my skin tone, and I do have a little bit more of a glow on this side. Let's do the same thing on the other side. We have the Revlon Candid Glow, and the shade here is 120. Can you see? I'm definitely right-handed, so it's always harder for me to show you this side. Because this is a lighter coverage, I'm actually going in with a little bit more of this product, so that is something to note. The Urban Decay is definitely higher coverage. So there we go, we have Urban Decay on this side, and then on this side we have the Revlon Candid Glow, shade 20 and shade 120. I'm going to finish this look, since it's a little bit incomplete here, with some of my Ulta Beauty Youthful Glow Concealer. All the concealers in my collection, and my favorite is literally a drugstore concealer. But I don't think it's going to be for everybody. I try to point this out every time I talk about it. It is very, very light coverage. I kind of feel like I'm blessed and cursed at the same time because I genuinely like my under eyes. I know, but I have acne, so, there's that. Using the tiniest amount of powder just to set the concealer. We're going to leave the rest of the face alone. And then I'm bringing in a small amount of the Rare Beauty liquid blush in the shade Bliss, which is just so amazingly potent. And I'm going to finish this with the Patrick Ta She's Expensive look, which I am not. I absolutely will not let Ara buy me a ring. Absolutely not. I would much rather we go on vacation once everything is over. I don't want a ring. And as promised, the rest of what is on my face, the Think Sport SPF 50, they went ahead and sent me their whole line of SPF, and it's not bad. It does have a little bit of a white cast. It's a little better to buff in than some of the old Neutrogena mineral sunscreens, but it still leaves a little bit of a white cast, so I paired that with, I have too much in my hands, the Juno Moonshine Primer that I mixed with a little bit of the Drunk Elephant D Bronzy so that I could even out that white cast. I do add this again about 30 minutes after the SPF. Really important for you to know that. And then also the Tarte Sketch and Set Brow. Fastest look ever. We could be done in 2 minutes with a look like this, but let's see what happens. We're gonna do a wear test starting now. Apollo, at what point will you learn to just sit on my shoulder? At what point will that be, huh? I'm trying so hard to train you. Ow! I thought we would bring out a friend for the check-in, but he's a little bit more interested in exploring. These are his happy colors. He loves being out of his enclosure. You're just gonna moon everyone? Is that it? That's it? They just get to see an Apollo butt? Oh, Lord. I just wanted to get on here really quickly and give you a 3 hours in update to let you know that things are going great. We have no issues on either side, and actually I really can't even tell the two apart, but I'll give you more thoughts in the conclusion. But yeah, so far no problems. I mean, I think this is the way to wear this foundation if you're interested in it. I'm calling this wear test at 6 hours. I know that's not too long of a wear test, but there are other wear tests on YouTube, and I feel like I have my answers. So, first things first, things are looking great on both sides of my face. I really have no complaints. So I started to notice some fading about an hour ago, right? But the thing is, it's not really something where I can really detect it. It's fading evenly. That's the phrase that I'm looking for, and that's exactly what I want in a tinted moisturizer. Look good for me as long as you can, and then when you have to go, do it kindly. But I want to also give you some final thoughts on this product, and also we'll talk about the dupe in just a moment. So basically, with this Hydromaniac foundation, I came to a revelation. I think that Urban Decay played it safe with this foundation. Light coverage, glowy finish, this is trending right now. But the funny thing about trends is that I genuinely don't think they're for everybody. I mean, I tried big brows for a while. I regret it. And especially with light coverage, I think that some people could be really surprised by how little coverage light actually suggests. So I think what Urban Decay did is they made a product that you can actually apply in a very small quantity and get a tinted moisturizer. Or you can apply in your regular quantity and you get a medium coverage foundation, which is brilliant because it satisfies both groups of people, assuming they understand how to use the product. And that's where I run into my potential cons with this product. When you start building up a, very hydrating medium coverage foundation, you're going to deal with a lot of transfer, and it may not look great on certain skin types. I genuinely think it may not look good on dry skin. It may actually look better on oily skin. I'm saying that largely because I saw a lot of people with oily skin saying, I think you're going to love this if you have dry skin. Meanwhile, I'm over here going, not worn as medium coverage, which ultimately means this is not going to be my top recommendation for anybody with specifically dry and slightly more mature skin. I don't think it's going to be the best fit for your skin type. Instead, I would genuinely stick with the original Stay Naked or the Shiseido Synchro Skin, which is my absolute favorite. And since my videos are always multiple things going on at once, the final talk we're gonna have today is about this Candid Glow Foundation. So if you're watching this and you're thinking, well, I was interested in Hydromaniac, but can I just buy that and it's a dupe? Mostly. Admittedly, in the beauty space, we throw the word dupe around like it's a frisbee. Technically, this came first, so I know someone's gonna get in the comments and say, it's not a dupe because the Revlon came first. But arguably, is light coverage and a glowy finish really that revolutionary, or is it just another case of pastels for spring? But there is a difference in applying this. You do use a lot more of this product. This is very, very light coverage, whereas this was medium coverage, and yet you can have the same exact appearance on the skin. Plus, this has a much better shade range. I hope this video was helpful for you, and as always, if you have tried these products and have any thoughts on them, whether you agree with me or disagree, feel free to leave your thoughts in the comments below, and if you enjoyed the video, make sure to like and subscribe, and I'll see you all next time.